Hi all, this is Tony Bartels with VIN Foundation, and we wanted to just drop a note here with all that's going on with the coronavirus. A lot of things have been said and a lot of information is floating around out there, some of it quite incomplete, unfortunately, as of yet. As some of you may be aware, the president did declare last Friday, March 13th, that he would be waiving all interest on federal student loans. We don't know exactly how that is supposed to work just yet, but we are anticipating receiving some information on that. There is some disagreement on whether or not he's going to be able to do that, but either way, there's even some bills making their way through Congress providing corona relief that do have some information regarding student loan payment relief as well. So as soon as we know more on that, we can crunch the numbers and see how that might impact your student loans and repayment strategies. In the meantime, we don't want to change anything, right? So stay the course. We want to make sure that we continue to make our monthly student loan payments that are due. If you're due to renew your income-driven repayment plan, please know what your renewal date is and provide that income documentation in a timely manner, especially now that your loan servicers are probably getting inundated with phone calls regarding their student loans and this student loan interest waiver. You want to make sure that you leave your loan servicer ample time to process your income-driven repayment renewal. Or better yet, you can do it electronically. So, and that's why we're here on the Federal Student Aid website. I wanted to also highlight a couple of changes that have gone on here recently. We can see that they do have an informational piece on the coronavirus for students, borrowers, and parents who have student loans. We'll go through that in just a second, but there's nothing in there about the student loan interest waiver yet. But basically, if you have student loans, you're going to want to log into this account. And I'm going to take you to my account. And this is now the portal. As many of you are aware, if you've been using the VIN Foundation Student Debt Center in the past, we used to send you over to the National Student Loan Data System. That is no longer available. So all the National Student Loan Data System URLs forward to this studentaid.gov. And when you log in, you're going to get to your dashboard. You can still obtain your National Student Loan Data System file if you click on this View Details link and you download or you look for this download my aid data link. This will actually download your National Student Loan Data System file to your computer. You can see I've got a number of these that I'm compiling. And I'll save this one in a folder that I'll use to then go over to the VIN Foundation Student Debt Center to upload and start making some sense out of. Before we go over there, I just want to show you some of the things that you can do while you're in here. So for those of you veterinary students who are going to be graduating this May, this is where you can start your consolidation loan, and you're going to do your exit counseling. So this is where all of that information starts. This is where you can apply for your income-driven repayment renewal, or if you are married, your spouse may need to co-sign that document. So you can do all of this information from this single portal. But let's come over to the VIN Foundation Student Debt Center, so vinfoundation.org/student debt center. I'm going to upload that data file that I just retrieved. I'm going to come over to the different files that I have. I've saved it in this folder, and this one is actually mine. We're going to take all that data that's in there, all that important information, your principal, your interest, the repayment plan that you're using. If you're using an income-driven repayment plan, we'll tell you your renewal date. Right, so this is a new feature that we recently released a couple of weeks ago. So we can see here that I'm due to renew. My anniversary date is coming up in a couple of weeks. I've already provided my income documentation to my loan servicer, and they've accepted that and told me what my new payment schedule will be for the next 12 months. Right, but we are going to provide some alerts here. If your income-driven repayment anniversary date is approaching, the closer the date is, the more scary the color, right? So red within a couple of weeks. We can see here if it's within 30 days, you'll receive a red notification. If it's within 90 days, yellow. And if you're outside that, we're just going to show you what your anniversary date is. A lot of good information here. Shows you what your current payment is. shows you what your repayment plan is. So we use repay, and that's mostly because we do not qualify for pay-as-you-earn. So if you're curious which repayment plans that you qualify to use, you can click on this income-driven repayment eligibility tool. Coming back over here to the Federal Student Aid website, if you do experience a decrease in your income for any reason, we expect the economy to slow down here in the coming months due to the coronavirus, you can actually submit to have your income-driven repayment monthly payment decreased. Right? So if your income is 0 or lower than what you expected it to be, there's an option in here to have your monthly payment recalculated even if you're not due to renew. You do not have to wait for your renewal window in order to have your payment recalculated. As long as the payment will go down, they will process that. The easiest way to do this, again, because the loan servicers are probably going to be swamped, is to do this electronically. So you can do this here at studentaid.gov as long as your income is 0. Right, so if your income has stopped, even temporarily here, and you're not sure when it's going to start up again, you can have them recalculate your payment. Check the box that says that you do not have taxable income, and they will set your payment to 0 for the next 12 months. Right, so enjoy that flexibility, but set yourself some reminders to have that income documentation renewed so it can go up when you start earning income again. Let's come over to the homepage here where they had some of the information on the coronavirus regarding student loans. Right, so there's actually some good information in here, right? So it's gonna go through some of the information that I just did, right? If you're on an income-driven repayment plan and you're making less money, you can have your payment reduced, right? That's how the income-driven plans work. I would avoid deferment and forbearance. There's some language in here talking about your eligibility for deferment and forbearance. Try to avoid those if possible, right? Because when you go into deferment or forbearance, all the interest that accrues will get added to your principal. So if we go back to a student debt center and look at my loans, you can see that I have a bit of unpaid interest here. Right? That's because we've been using repay for a number of years, and in a lot of those years, the payment was less than the interest that accrued each month. So I have an unpaid interest balance. If I were to go into deferment, even though my payment would be 0, this unpaid interest balance will get added to my principal when I come out of that deferment. Right? If I stay in income-driven repayment, that unpaid interest will stay in this unpaid interest bucket and will not get added to my principal. That's important because the interest that accrues is only based on your principal, right? So to reduce the amount of interest that accrues during those periods where you're making low or no payments, you want to stay in income-driven repayment and avoid deferment or forbearance. So that's really what I wanted to cover here. Just a quick short video to hopefully calm some nerves. And if you have any questions, please reach out to studentdebt@vinfoundation.org, or you can post where this video lives, or you can also find us over on the VIN Student Debt folder. As soon as we know more information about the student loan interest waiver and the logistics of that, we will crunch the numbers and let you know. But until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and ask lots of questions. We'll talk to you soon.